I'm here with two brilliant men. I'm here with Dr. Ben Carson and John Gibbs. They're wonderful Christians. I love both of you. I got to spend some time with you recently, and Dr. Carson, we've known you for a while. How do we make for a better America? You two talk, and I want to listen.
Well, you know, the ingredients are already there. We've had them from the beginning. If we look at our founding documents, and they tell us that we have certain inalienable rights that were granted to us by our Creator, and we had values and principles that made a difference. And we taught children in school the difference between right and wrong. We taught people to respect each other and to help each other. And it seems to me as if we're moving away from all of those things. And love your neighbor, not cancel your neighbor if they don't agree with you. Yes. I mean, just a typical example.
Absolutely, sir. I totally agree. We have the basic ingredients there. We have freedom. We have respect for the basic rights that God gave us. Families, I think we need very strong families. That's something that's been disintegrating over the recent decades. And I think that at the congressional level even, we've got to really look at ways we can empower families instead of just chop the people off at the knees. Because if you're a single person, for example, and then you get married, your combined income now often takes you over the threshold. So you lose your benefits. And so we're actually incentivizing people not to get married in many cases, as we often discussed at HUD. So I think we've got to look at families as part of the solution too. So yeah, the basic American ingenuity is there. It's in the people. We can produce pretty much anything and make it really, really well. If the government would just let go a little bit and let people do their thing that's already there and that's already inside of us, I think we'll see some real growth like we've had under President Trump and continue that trend.
That's from a man, by the way, who was at the beginning of the iPhone, right? Think of the trillions of dollars of industry and development that's come from that one simple invention.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm actually optimistic for more than one reason, but one of the things that really makes me optimistic is when I was running for president, traveling to all the little hamlets and towns and places like North Dakota and Mississippi. There are a lot of people in this country who have common sense, who are decent people. Not so much in D.C., but in other places. But maybe we can start changing that trend, John.
Yes, absolutely.
Bring some real common sense. And it's not just common sense, it's courage. You have to have courage. You have to be willing to stand up. Sometimes you're the only one standing up in the beginning. But then that draws other people, and they begin to recognize that they're not the only ones who feel this way. And I think you cannot be the land of the free if you're not in the home of the brave. Mm-hmm. You got to be willing to stand up, and I know John will do that.
Absolutely. In my travels around our district, just as Dr. Carson was saying, the great Americans out there are wonderful. It is really excellent just to see regular folks, see their support, see their encouragement and their prayers. And to me, that's kind of recharging to be able to just be around our great folks out there. And that is what gives me the strength to be able to go into a situation like what I'm going into, and to be able to stand up and have the courage to fight, not fighting in a reckless way, but fighting in a principled, courageous way to stand up for what's right. And so when I remember all those people I've met all around our district who tell me they're praying for me, they're supporting me, and they have my picture on the refrigerator, and that reminds them to pray for me and things. It's just wonderful to always think of that, and that is who we're fighting for, why we're fighting, our great folks all around the country. So that for me is a great thing to always keep in mind as I go about doing this.
One thing I really like about you is you're not at all a politician. You're not a politician either.
Please, I never want to be one.
We have great conversation. We had a great talk at dinner last night, and I saw that Michigan values and Texas values are very similar because they're American values. And that's what, we're seeing such a division, red state, blue state, and all this. But actually, you get to the real people, and you talk outside the political talking points, and we're fighting for the same stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something I've noticed as well when traveling around. And we have a great people and a great culture. The left and Hollywood and whatnot, they don't want to say it. They only want to attack and point out the faults and this and there's that. Yeah, every country on earth should remember those things that it needs to fix going forward in the future. But there's also a good side too. And our country has got the greatest upside to it because that's why everyone wants to come here. So I think it's really important for us to always remember there is basic American values that most folks hold across the country. And that's why we're doing what we're doing, and that's really the backbone of our country.
And we have to remember that the people on the left, they're not necessarily evil people. It's just that they have a very different concept of what we're supposed to be, of what America is supposed to be. And it does not resemble what our founders put forth that became such a great country in a record amount of time.